All right. Good afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are, people in the world. Today we have Paul Green, marketing extraordinaire guru, on to talk to us about a little bit about market strategy with MSPs, as well as he's got a great book out there that I read a few weeks ago. And I left a review on LinkedIn. It's kind of blew my mind because usually you get these books and they're just kind of fluff, but there was actual actionable items that I implemented within the first hour after reading this book. So, Paul, tell us a little about yourself, your book, your strategy, and go.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, Adam. As you can hear, I'm British. I'm based in the UK, but I work with MSPs all over the world with our MSP Marketing Edge service. And the book, which is called MSP Marketing Start Here, I wrote this in 8 hours. Can you believe that? It actually took me 5 years to figure out what to put in it, but it only took 8 hours to type it out. I had a flight from the UK to Vegas for an MSP marketing conference, and that was when I typed it out. And it's designed as a 60-minute read because I know MSPs don't really like reading. It's in fact it's an audiobook as well, but it's designed to be something you could just absorb and do exactly what you did, which is take action. And I'm going to give you a little mini applaud and say bravo for taking action, because I've worked with MSPs since 2016, but I've been doing marketing for all sorts of businesses this is my 20th year, which is surprising. Even though I've got grey hair, I'm still only in my 30s. So it is a bit of a shock that I've been working that long. But what I've found with working with all sorts of different businesses with marketing is if you want to get better at marketing, and by better at marketing, I mean more leads, more prospects, more clients, you have to do the work. Right? You have to do the work. There is no way around it. Sure, there are clever little tricks now and again, and there are shortcuts, and AI, of course, is making some things easier, although it's making other things harder. But ultimately, you have to do the work. And I speak to thousands of MSPs, as do you, and I know you and I will completely agree on this without putting words into your mouth, which is the MSPs who win clients more often are doing more marketing. It's as simple as that. Yep. So the message in the book is, hey, if you don't have much marketing in play, put a system in place. So don't do haphazard one-off campaigns. Don't do bits and bobs, this and that. Get a system in place. Do a series of simple things and do them regularly. Because if you're, let's just take LinkedIn, right? If every day, for example, you were spending 20 minutes connecting with people on LinkedIn that you would like to do business with and posting a piece of content. And sure, there are things that work well today that didn't work yesterday, and we can talk about some of those if you want, but just posting some content and just then commenting on other people's posts or replying to comments. If you did that for just 20 minutes a day, but you did it every single weekday for 10 years, guess what? You'll have 10,000 connections. You'll have a ton of people that feel as though you're part of their network, that are like your stuff coming up. And some of those people at the point at which they're fed up with their incumbent MSP, because every day someone somewhere wakes up fed up with their incumbent MSP, then you are buying yourself a place at the table to talk to them. So you're not going to win a client off LinkedIn. No one wins clients off LinkedIn. But what you do is you use LinkedIn, for example, as a platform with a marketing system to be there in front of someone at the point that they're maybe thinking of switching over to another MSP. And only a marketing system can do that. And it frustrates me so much when I see big vendors just giving away marketing campaigns. Here's a new marketing campaign. It's amazing. It's got 600 steps, and it's got emails, and it's got this, and it's got whatsoever. And there is a place for marketing campaigns, but an MSP running a one-off marketing campaign and then sitting back and saying, well, that didn't work. Where are my clients? Completely misses how marketing actually works. Because a managed service contract is the hardest thing in the world to sell. It's so difficult. It's so complex. It's so bespoke from the prospect's point of view. Not from our point of view, but from the prospect's point of view. So we've got to make sure we get the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And that means a marketing system where you do things on a regular basis, ideally daily.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the big things I took out from your book, and I don't want to give too many spoilers here, but was that consistency. I see MSPs. I watch you guys. I'm watching, and I'll see a post on a Monday from an MSP, and I won't see anything from them for 4 weeks. And I think at some point in your book, you give a quick little breakdown of like your actual people only see like 1 out of every 4 of your posts. They only see out of 1 out of every 4 of your pieces of content. So when you build a system to continuously put out great content, or to create a campaign that gets you noticed, that consisting those impressions build up over time. And we have noticed in our own company here, and we got more consistent about our campaigns, that a mandala effect starts taking place where people start associating you automatically with events, with technology. And that brain recognition, you can't buy that. It has to be done through consistency. You look at the most recognizable brands in the world, Coca-Cola, it's everywhere. I don't care where you are in the world, people know that brand. They see that brand. Nike. Whenever you are in the world, you can see that swoosh and that's Nike. They are one of the best athletic companies. Whether they actually are or not is beside the point. Their branding is on point. And you've got to be that level of consistency. It's not expensive. It's just a matter of having a strategy, working with a strategist, and getting that consistency out there. So you're routinely doing something where people are starting to see you and you're training them to say, oh, these guys really know what they're talking about. And then that day they have a bad day with their current provider, they're like, you know what? This is a good time for me to switch over to Paul.
Yeah.
So give us some quick tips, like how do you build a system? What does that actually look like?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And how you build a system is very much based around what resources have you got within your MSP. And this is something else which frustrates me talking to MSPs is, and especially the 1, 2, 3 man bands, is they try and do it all themselves. Right. So you know the hell of being a one-man band, a one-person band business, because you started on day one, it was just you, right? It was just you sat in a room somewhere doing some work. That's how I started in 2005. And it's fun and it's hell at the same time. And I think once you're 2-3 years into your MSP owning career, and you perhaps it's you and help. I call them one-man bands and help. So it's you, and maybe you've got a first line technician, or there's a consultant in another city that you use now and again. But one of the hardest things with doing marketing is just trying to do everything yourself. And I think the secret with the marketing system is to identify, what do we want to achieve here? So first of all, what do we want to achieve? And then secondly, how are we going to resource that? So that me, the owner, isn't personally doing it. When I started out 20 years ago, I had a mentor, and that mentor gave me a line which lives with me today. In fact, it's up on my whiteboard still today. Let me tell you what this is. In fact, this is so important, Adam. You should have this tattooed on your head, but in like mirror writing, so reverse writing, so you can see what it says when you look in a mirror. You should only do what only you can do. Let me say that again. You should only do what only you can do. So if you're an MSP and you're the owner of the business and you're probably the second and third line tech, right? What can you only do in the business? Well, only you can do, I'm not a technical person, but server configurations, cloud migrations, deep, difficult problem solving. Only you can decide what goes in the package, or switch RMM, or switch this, or switch that, or whatever it is that you do. But of course, we all know that the owner of the MSP is wasting their time doing a user, setting up a new user for a client, or doing a password reset. Someone's got to do it, right? Or some software or something's got to do it, but it doesn't have to be the owner. And I think MSPs understand that from a technical point of view. But then they will go into their marketing and they'll sit and they'll say, oh, I'm going to write something for LinkedIn, or I'm going to post this, or I'm going to do this because I want control over the brand, or I want control over how people perceive me. So to answer your question, this is the most winded answer ever.
You're good.
To answer your question, how do I set up the marketing system? It's like, right, what are we trying to achieve? And I'll give you the strategy out of the book in a second, which is a six-word strategy. That's all it is. It's super simple, but super powerful. So what are we trying to achieve? What do we have to do that? Who can do this for me? Can someone else write LinkedIn content? The answer is yes. Hire someone on Fiverr or Upwork, or get AI to do it, but just be very careful that you have humans either side of the AI generation. AI can generate text, but you need a very good prompt at the beginning and very good editing at the other side. Use a service like my MSP Marketing Edge, and we work with 700 MSPs worldwide. We do their LinkedIn content for them so that they don't have to do it. There's lots of ways of getting content, but someone else could do a better job of writing better content for you. What if all the content's only in your head? Oh no, it's only I can do it. It's only in my head. Get someone else to interview you. Get ChatGPT to interview you. Get Gemini to interview you. You can talk to them while you're in the car. You don't even have to sit and type, and they'll write it all for you and email it to you for when you get back to the office. Who can post it on LinkedIn? It doesn't have to be you. Just because it's your LinkedIn account doesn't mean you have to do it. I'll let you into a secret, Adam. You and I have chatted a few times on LinkedIn. It's not me. right? You've been chatting with Christelle. Christelle's my virtual assistant. She lives in France. I live in the UK, and she does my LinkedIn for me. She does 80% of it. So if it's just a basic, hey, how are you? I'd love to find out more about your services. She replies to all of that. Adam, you always ask me interesting questions on LinkedIn. So actually, it probably was you and me talking, because I just do the 20% of difficult stuff. But there's a great example of, you should only do what only you can do. And 80% of the stuff on LinkedIn is the same stuff every day. So someone else can do that for me. I'll just do the 20% of stuff that she's never come across before. So I'll answer that. So that's where you come up with a system. You just break it down into tasks. What do I want to do? Break it down. Task. Who can do these tasks for me? And I believe I do lay out a system in the book. It's a 3-step system. Let me tell you what it is. 6 words, 3 steps, super easy, super powerful. Step 1, build audiences. Step 2, grow relationships. Step 3, convert relationships. That's it, right? So that there is my entire marketing strategy. That's what I'm doing. I suspect it's what you're doing, Adam, because I look at your marketing and I recognize what you're doing. It's what the most successful MSPs do. You build up audiences of people to listen to you on LinkedIn, your email. There are other places. This podcast is an audience for you, Adam. This is one of your audiences, and I suspect this will be one of your most powerful audiences because you're here and you're authentic in your content with what you're doing. The second thing, then you grow relationships with that audience, and that's done through the content. This is you growing a relationship with the MSPs that are listening to this. This is me growing a relationship with the MSPs that are listening to this. It's as simple as that. And then the third step, for MSPs on LinkedIn, that's about posting content. It's about sending out emails. It's about LinkedIn newsletters, Google business profile updates, all of that kind of stuff. And then the final step, convert relationships. That's the final magic step where you take someone from being a lead to being a prospect to being a client. There are lots of things you can do there, but the simplest thing is just to pick up the phone. And again, not you, the business owner, but someone working on your behalf, probably not a marketing agency either. It's a kind of job that works best in-house. You hire a back-to-work mum, 2 to 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 days a week, and she is just phoning people for you. They're not sales calls. Yep. She doesn't need to know much about your business. She's just calling to find out who's nearly ready to have a conversation. Who's in an emotional place where they're so sick of their incumbent that it's just worth them having a chat with my boss. And do you know what? The numbers game alone says you make 200-300 of those calls and you'll get someone booked in for a 15-minute Zoom or Teams call with the boss. And that's it. And in the book, we lay out a little bit more detail about the system, but essentially that's it. And it's all broken down. This is the most critical thing. Break it down into small tasks other people can do for you.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about that breakdown on a small task. So you threw a lot of stuff at me, right?
Sorry.
No, it's fantastic because that's how a system works. You look at the system and there's all these moving parts, there's all these things to do. And so the question is, where do I start? And so for me, like I'm asking you, Paul, like what's the one thing I can do? Like where I don't have time to build up this whole system. I mean, I'd love to give out things that I don't want to work on anymore. I don't have the staff for it. I need to hire somebody eventually. I don't have the money for it. Where do I start? How do I get this ball rolling?
Yeah, it's a great question and a common one. And saying you haven't got the time or the effort to build out the system is like saying, oh, I've got time to get a PSA, but not an RMM. So I'll get the PSA and I'll get the RMM in 2028, which doesn't make sense, does it? Because actually that's one of the critical tools that you need in your tech stack. It's no different in marketing. You need all of these things, but you have to build them out over time. No one does it overnight. The answer to where to get started is, and this is why I called the book, massive plug alert, I call it Start Here because it answers that exact question, is you start at step 1 of the process that I lay out in the book. So build audiences was the first step, and I forget exactly what the first things, I wrote this a few months ago. Let me have a look. What's number 1 task? Number 1 task is, hang on, we're getting here to page 19, 20, there we go. Page 23, task number 1, make new LinkedIn connections. That's where you start. So you start right at the beginning, you build up your LinkedIn connections. I know that task 2 is to add those into your CRM. So as you make a new LinkedIn connection, you get their email address. It tells you in the book how to do that. There's 2 or 3 different ways to do it. There's free ways, there's automated ways, there's paid ways, but you find their email address and you put that in the CRM. And then you send them an email telling them what you've done. And this is how you get their permission. I've put permission speech marks there, but their permission for you to email them, because we all know that the world's data protection protection laws say don't email anyone you haven't got implied exact permission, but actually you can do that. We're small businesses. We're not spammers. We're not sending out 10 million emails a day, selling whatever we're selling today. We're connecting to 2 or 3 new people on LinkedIn a day. We're going to find their email address, put them in the CRM, send them an email saying, hey, I've added you to my email list. If you don't like that, unsubscribe. That's where you get started. Because actually, if you can do nothing else in marketing, if you're growing your audience and you're adding 2, 3 people on LinkedIn and to your email every day, then you wake up in a year's time when you realize, oh, I really must do some of that marketing. Oh, I've got 500 to 1,000 connections on LinkedIn. Amazing. I've got something to do. I've got a bunch of people I can do something with. Versus actually, if you know, most people just jump straight into, oh, I'm going to do a bit of blogging, or I'm going to do a bit of pay-per-click, or I'm going to do some SEO. And those are fine things to do, but they all require a long-term commitment, and you're not going to do it. Whereas someone somewhere in your business, or a virtual assistant somewhere, or your teenager can sit and connect to new people on LinkedIn for you for a few bucks an hour while you're going off and doing technical work. So yeah, start with building your LinkedIn connections.
Yeah, I tell people, envision your online presence just like you do your physical presence. If you showed up at home and said hi to your wife every once in a while, we all know how that's going to end. If you just show up and say, I'll do laundry when I feel like it, we know how that's going to end up. It's getting up very cold on that couch. Anyways, but if you make a consistent effort to say hello to your spouse, to your kids, to your dog, whatever it is that you have at home, that relationship gets better and better and better over time. And, you know, I know that I say hi when I walk in the door. I know I say goodbye when I leave. Maybe I give my wife a kiss goodbye. Maybe it's a hug. Maybe when I get home, I'm cooking dinner every night for my spouse. Whatever it is, that consistency is what builds the relationship over time. They say, I know in the United States, the big thing is having a family dinner is how you build a family and how you build relationships with your kids. It's not the food that matters. It's the conversation. So in your business, it's the same thing. Where's the family dinner table? A lot of times it's the bar, it's the LIBA events, or the your business groups, your business networking groups. Being there consistently, where you're building those relationships over time, where maybe you're solving a problem. They say, hey, I just really don't know what to do about this recent action our city is taking on small businesses with a tax, with whatever. And then you guys work through it together and say, well, actually, here's how we're handling it. Now you've built a relationship. Even if they're not your client, they remember that. That's just a one little thing you did. But over time, that builds up a relationship in their head, just like online and LinkedIn. You'll see my posts every once in a while, but I'm putting 6 to 7 up every week of video content, short form content, and every once in a while, a funny meme. And of those six, you're going to see like one. And you're going to think, oh, that really connected with me. And over time, that impression is going to keep there. And like, you know what? I really like what Adam's doing. I really like what Skip's doing. I like what the team is doing down there. I should check it out. I really need a project management software that's going to help me out. I really need a way to talk to my clients better. And Adam is really good at talking to people. I want to be more like that. And that impression starts sticking. So treat your online presence just like you do your physical presence with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers. Treat it the same way, but just translate it. And I think that's what really connected me in your book was you gave practical examples in a very short book that I finished. I think I finished it in 25 minutes, by the way.
Did you? That's cool. It's
I think I
designed as a
posted online
60-minute read.
You said an hour, so I buckled down, I grabbed my dog, and she laid on the couch next to me, and I read through it. I'm like, that was really good. And I thought about it for days afterwards. How do I implement this? What am I doing wrong? How can I handle this? And I actually brought it to my team. Like, you guys are not connecting with our members enough. And it's true, they weren't. And so we changed some things around to be more relational so that clients felt heard. We felt like we were over communicating. But in actuality, we were under communicating. I see everything I put out. You see 1 in 5, 1 in 6 that I put out. So you always have to remember that when you go home, Your kids don't remember every meal you made. They remember that you made meals for them. So Paul, let's get some final thoughts from you. One, where can I find your book? Two, what is my key takeaway here? What's your one piece of advice for all the MSPs listening today? All just in general, people listening today. What can they do to improve their market strategy today within the next 5 minutes? And then also, where can we find your book?
Yeah, sure. So to answer your question about what can you do to improve your business is put in place a marketing system. So you just talked about consistency there. I agree with everything you said. And we do consistency with our spouse or our children or our dog very well because the consequences of losing them are so much higher than the consequences of losing a client or not winning a new client. But the answer to being consistent is it's all about the system again. So just as you do, I put out, well, take to date, we're recording this on a Thursday. I have published a LinkedIn newsletter every Thursday for, I think this is week 83 or week 84. Might even be over 100 now. In fact, it's well over 100. What am I talking about? We're in year 3. But the point, I don't know what day it is because yeah, sure, I write that content, but someone else publishes it, right?
Yep.
And it's all, the whole thing is built as a system. When I say someone else, a member of my team. So it's all of our marketing is completely systemized. As long as I record the stuff or write the stuff when it's supposed to be done, someone else does all that, and we've got checks and balances to check. And that is your where do I get started? Is pick something, figure out what you want to do, and then do it consistently and build it into a system. So all of this is covered in the book. Here's where you can get the book. It's called MSP Marketing Start Here. It's like, I think it's like $6. It's not a huge amount of money because I want to get this into as many MSPs' hands as possible. It's a 60-minute read. It's on paper. It's in paperback, Kindle, and Audible. And you know where to go to access all of those. It's the world's most loved retailer or online retailer, which is, of course, Amazon. And so, yeah, paperback, Kindle, Audible, MSP Marketing Start Here. And yeah, please do have a read. And you can even post the copy to me and I'll sign it and post it back to you as well. And I've never made that offer before. It's not a real offer, by the way. Yeah, not a real offer.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Paul. It's always good to be on your podcast. You can go out and check out Paul Green's podcast. I'm on there at some point. You can research him. Great advice. Follow him on LinkedIn. He's one of my favorite people to follow for marketing advice. And I really appreciate you coming on, taking this time out of your day. And let's do it again sometime.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thank you, sir.